The epic tale ignites as our silver-haired protagonist coldly pulls the trigger. The fat kingpin, Boss Cow, catches cold steel in his chest. His goons scream in absolute panic while he crashes down. Gunfire erupts. Guards shred our hero's chest with a brutal barrage. He crashes into a massive, spreading crimson puddle. A final thought hits him hard. Life's ultimate equalizer? We all get just one single playthrough. Boss Cao bathed in arrogant glory for decades. Yet he just died to a guy he considered a complete nobody. Trillions in the bank? A fortune rivaling entire empires? Completely useless when the Grim Reaper finally knocks on your door. Bitter peace washes over him. Mom and Dad are finally avenged. But man, destiny plays a viciously twisted game. The world stripped away his everything. Fading into absolute darkness, a blazing conviction screams through his mind. I absolutely refuse to lose. Gasping, his eyes rip open. He thrashes in bed, violently escaping a literal nightmare. Pure shock hits him. Didn't Cao's bodyguards just obliterate him? Scanning the area, this nostalgic vibe feels way too real. His old, crusty college dorm room. Then, a mind-bending revelation strikes him like absolute lightning. Did he just respawn in the past? Smashing the remote, an earth-shattering broadcast hijacks the screen. The legendary, fully immersive virtual reality masterpiece named Conviction just dropped its open beta. His pulse violently explodes. Servers for Conviction are barely online. He literally time-traveled back to the golden era. Meet Ni Yan. Grabbing a dusty frame off his nightstand, he stares at a heartbreaking, nostalgic family photo. Right now, his folks are hustling at the border, smuggling a crazy strategic asset known as plutonium. The government pays insane, astronomical multipliers for this stuff. This wildly lucrative hustle basically prints millions for them. Dad later built a massive smelting empire, rocketing them into elite status. But golden eras always shatter violently. At age 25, absolute ruin hit. The ruthless Shihong Financial Group launched a devastating attack. Cao Shu brutally bought out their closest allies. Traders backstabbed his dad, tanking the company into brutal, unavoidable bankruptcy. Driven to despair, his dad drank lethal poison. Crushed by pure agony, his mom faded away from absolute heartbreak. Brutal reality check? Ni Yan was completely guilty too. That spoiled rich kid lifestyle made him pathetic and lazy. He basically trashed his youth. When the apocalypse hit, he lacked skills, strategy, and any real escape route, so he picked the darkest final option, dragging Cao Shu to hell with him. Yet fate just triggered a miraculous respawn. This run, Ni Yan vows he will absolutely obliterate anyone threatening his world. The crazy plot twist? His legendary second playthrough kicks off directly inside the realm of Conviction. Conviction is a reality-warping holographic masterpiece. Massive megacorporations eventually hijacked this digital goldmine. Even Cao Shu built his terrifying empire here. Conviction basically became Earth version 2. Back then, Ni Yan reigned as a level 180+ master thief. Checking his glowing screen, it blinks July 25th, 2025. Holy crap, the servers have literally only been live for 7 days. Hope blazes wildly. He absolutely still has enough time. Right now, the sweatiest tryhards on the global leaderboards are barely scraping level 5. Armed with futuristic game knowledge, crushing them is effortless. This is his epic cheat code to completely reverse his tragic destiny. Checking his battered wallet, he has just enough spare cash to snag a bottom-tier virtual reality rig. Vengeance against Cao Shu burns in his soul. Ripping on his jacket, he steps out to completely rewrite brutal history. Night falls, gear secured. Being a week behind, absolute scrubs means nothing to a time-traveling god. He'll crush his rivals like a devastating lightning strike and conquer Conviction's absolute peak. He locks in the headset. Logging in, the system demands an allegiance. The digital realm features 3 titanic factions. The Righteous Light faction boasts the mighty Greenland Empire and the glorious Saturn Empire. Ancient elders lead Greenland's massive human forces. Meanwhile, Saturn unites an epic, fierce alliance of wild beastmen, elves, and dwarves. The brutal Dark faction unleashes ruthless demon descendants and skeletal undead armies under one absolute warlord. Finally, pure pacifists can always roll with the towering giants representing the strictly neutral zone. Last timeline, he grinded insanely hard as a legendary wind thief inside the Greenland Empire. He literally memorized every single hidden combo, broken skill, and secret quest for this class. Locking in Wind Thief again maximizes his massive respawn buff. The digital system locks in his legendary class choice. Instantly, his spawn point locks to the Greenland Empire. A glowing prompt flashes, demanding his brand new epic username, Ni Yan. The system accepted his legendary alias, forging his new avatar. Instantly, he materialized inside the sprawling Viridian Empire, landing directly in Kalor City. His holographic interface flashed. Class: Level 1 Thief. Base stats locked in. 6 strength, 8 agility, 5 solid defense, 4 intelligence, alongside 80 crucial health points. That nostalgic VR sensation instantly flooded his veins. Without hesitation, he dumped 3 points straight into strength and tossed 2 into agility. Back in his previous life, his garbage stat distribution totally tanked his early leveling grind. There was zero chance he'd repeat that rookie mistake. The glowing Kalor teleportation hub connected players across various bustling cities, scattered towns, and remote villages. Nearby, an obnoxious level 3 arcane mage was hyping up a basic level 0 whiteboard dagger. Boasting 2 physical attack points, it barely edged out the trash starter blade. His asking price? A steep 2 copper coins, claiming only 3 remained in stock. Ni-Yan instantly saw right through this pathetic Locktown hustle. Those exact trash daggers retailed for a single copper over there, plus the fast travel cost absolutely nothing. In his past timeline, he completely fell for that bait and got ruthlessly scammed. However, armed with his regressor memories, he wasn't falling for it today. He knew the real meta. Suddenly, a level 3 Imperial Guard Paladin showcased something actually worth his time, a rare stealth skill book priced at 6 copper coins. A desperate crowd swarmed him. Everyone craved that broken ability, but the paywall was absolutely insane. Even Ni-Yan felt the pull. He confidently approached, double-checking the outrageous price tag. The armored paladin stubbornly stood his ground. 6 copper coins per manual. For any aspiring thief, stealth wasn't just overpowered in the early game, it was mandatory for survival. Suddenly, a golden memory from his past life sparked. Deep within the feral wildcat territory of Telok Town sat an undiscovered chest. The specific loot buried inside that locked box would permanently turbocharge his leveling speed. That death zone crawled with aggressive level 5 beasts, and currently, the player base was hard stuck at level 2 or 3, guaranteeing the loot remained untouched. Ni-Yan boldly demanded the paladin hand over the manual, for 0 cost. As a trade, he offered a game-breaking secret, an exploit to farm over 12 stealth manuals. Within 24 hours, the merchant instantly told him to get lost. He absolutely refused to charity a premium item to a penniless noob. Yet Ni-Yan did not flinch, coolly advising the angry player to chill out, because he knew exactly where they dropped, the fallen shamans out in Linktown. The paladin practically stopped breathing. He glared at Ni-Yan, completely mind-blown, demanding answers. Smirking, our regressor pushed the envelope even further, casually dropping the precise spawn coordinates: 22385, 21338, 23329. The merchant was paralyzed. This guy didn't just guess the mob, he possessed the literal GPS data. He seriously started wondering if this mysterious, level 0 newcomer was spitting straight facts. The most baffling part? How could a total beginner with 0 EKEPs possess such broken beta knowledge? Weighing his options, he finally took the massive gamble. Losing 1 manual wouldn't bankrupt him. If this intel was legit, he'd be swimming in daily drops. He decisively slammed the accept trade button. A holographic prompt confirmed Flying Stone transferred the legendary manual. The high-stakes deal was officially sealed. Ni-Yan instructed him to hit coordinates 22385.21, 338.23, 329. That sweet spot bordered the fallen shaman stronghold. With optimal grinding, he'd secure over 12 stealth manuals every single day. Flying Stone was absolutely hyped, immediately gearing up to test the glitch. Before parting ways, Ni-Yan dropped one final bombshell. Those same shamans dropped the ultra-rare Night Owl's perception skill. If any duplicates dropped, he expected one mailed straight to his inbox. Flying Stone nodded frantically. If this god-tier exploit actually worked, he swore, he'd priority mail the loot instantly. Ni-Yan pivoted toward the glowing warp zone. Armed with his core rogue ability, Phase 2 officially commenced, looting the secret stash. He materialized instantly inside Telok Town. The stealth manual dissolved into his interface. Instantly, his character faded into a shadowy cloak, masking his physical presence from the world. But severe level gaps could easily shatter his camouflage. He triggered the shadow art. Sprinting silently past oblivious crowds, he remained a total ghost. Leaving the safe zone, he plunged into the woods, breaching the wildcat territory. A vicious level 4 one-eyed beast prowled alongside lesser level 2 felines. High above them, the legendary loot rested upon a thick branch. Within this VR universe, loot boxes scaled fiercely. White, silver, gold, dark gold, peaking at mythical legendary status. Higher tiers meant absolutely god-tier gear. The prized contents were system-locked. The second a player cracked the seal, the box vanished from the server permanently. Just as his regressor memories promised, the gleaming silver chest remained completely untouched by oblivious noobs. While this hellish level 5 hunting ground meant instant death for a base level 0 weakling, direct combat wasn't his goal anyway. He held one massive psychological advantage. Death meant absolutely nothing. Zero risk of dropping loot or XP. He popped stealth, instantly vanishing as he bolted forward. 2 minutes. That was his entire invisibility window. Factoring in the unlock timer, he needed insane speed. Suddenly, a wildcat sniffed the air, launching a vicious pounce. Getting near their aggro radius was suicide. Instant detection meant certain death. He executed a flawless somersault, scraping past the deadly claws, and stuck the landing perfectly. Zero hesitation. He vaulted onto the massive branch, immediately engaging the lock mechanism while burying his rising panic. His cloak could shatter any second. The progress bar crawled agonizingly. 27 nerve-wracking seconds ticked by. Click! The lid popped. Neon exhaled a shaky breath. Step 1 of his legendary leveling master plan was complete. Resting inside lay the ultimate prize. A skill book, Vital Strike, an executioner's technique targeting enemy weak spots for massive fatal damage. Brutally simple, absolutely devastating. Weak point hits inflicted 150% damage, with a 30-second cooldown, but only 3 classes could wield it: Thief, Warrior, and Paladin. Neon's eyes gleamed as he verified the legendary text in his hands. An S-tier Thief ability, usable right at level 0. Grinding through the grueling early game just became 50% easier. He instantly absorbed the skill book, just as his invisibility shattered. He leaped down from the canopy. "Thanks for guarding my loot," he smirked, throwing a cheeky wave at the furious wildcats below. Death and conviction usually meant brutal XP and gear drops, but at level 0 in trash-tier beginner rags, getting wiped out cost him absolutely nothing. The death notification flashed, stripping him of only useless starter gauntlets. His vision blurred, respawning him in the nearest safe zone. Neon just laughed to himself. "Gotta love the free fast travel," he joked, immediately pivoting to Phase 2 of his ultimate grind strategy. He sprinted through the bustling streets. Phase 2 absolutely required a baseline of 20 copper coins. Since newbies spawned with a pathetic 10 coppers, he needed a quick cash injection right now. According to his past life's memory, a secret quest chain hid nearby. He casually approached Hunter Klaus. He bagged the mission for 20 silver-gray giant rat skulls, immediately pivoting to Farmer Enda. Bam! Another contract to slaughter 50 more rats. Finally, he tracked down the elusive pharmacist Orr. News traveled fast. Orr knew about the crazy rookie grabbing bounties, and conveniently needed rare medicinal herbs gathered. The moment Orr offered him the fetching task. Bingo! The legendary hidden quest prompt finally flashed. Neon smirked. This broken chain only unlocked by taking the first 2 simultaneously, a top-secret exploit nobody knew. He locked in the secret mission for 21 rat tails, and charged straight into the dense forest. A level 1 silver-gray giant rat appeared with full 53 HP. Neon instantly triggered Vital Strike. His dagger pierced its core. Massive critical hit. The monster got one-shotted, dropping a skull and a tail. Jackpot! A glowing item dropped from the mob. A clean pair of tough leather leg guards. White tier rarity, level 0, granting 4 defense and weighing 3 pounds. Sadly, it was warrior class locked. Still, tossing this into the auction house guaranteed at least 7 coppers. Suddenly, a vicious rat swarm ambushed him. Zero panic. He spammed Vital Strike flawlessly, turning into a grim reaper. Every single flash of his blade deleted a monster. Just 1 hour of relentless grinding later, he completely cleared the triple bounty from Klaus, Enda, and Orr. He scored 34 coppers and 3 instant heal pots. The secret quest payout was absolutely insane. Instant health potions were insanely rare right now. Smirking, he slammed the leather gear onto the auction block. Next target on his master plan? The local weapon merchant. The cocky blacksmith welcomed him, aggressively flexing that his arsenal was the absolute best across the western grasslands. Neon cut to the chase. Level 0 crossbow, minimum 3 attack, 12-yard range, under 40 coppers. Show me. The merchant slid over a small rapid-fire machine crossbow. It boasted a sick triple burst mode and +5 attack. While its base speed sat at 8, the rapid-fire passive absurdly boosted its actual fire rate to 15, a 30-yard range for exactly 35 coppers. The shopkeeper smirked, waiting for the rookie's mind to be blown. Sold, Neon declared. He also grabbed 9 quivers of trash-tier bolts, packing 1,000 arrows per bundle. Boom! 44 coppers vanished from his inventory, securing the deadly machine crossbow and a mountain of cheap ammo. The blacksmith beamed at his new VIP customer. Fully armed and dangerous, Neon marched straight toward the bison grinding zone. In conviction, level suppression is absolute law. A 5-level difference creates an impassable power canyon. Right now, those raging bison beasts sat at level 8. Even the server's rank 1 player would get utterly demolished by them, let alone surviving the terrifying bison boss, whose sheer stats were totally broken. Every single boss in this game was a hyper-rare spawn, but armed with the absolute knowledge of his past life, Jan radiated pure, unshakable confidence. Rocking a pathetic level 0, he still knew he could easily slaughter this hulking beast. Completely ignoring that suicidal level gap, Jan flawlessly positioned himself right on the jagged cliff edge overlooking the hunting zone. Coordinates 567.62.8.192. If his past life memory served right, this was the exact sweet spot. Bingo. Down below, massive herds stampeded across the plains. There it was, the level 8 boss, flexing a totally full health bar of 300 over 300. This apex predator ruled the entire map. Better yet, the sheer vertical drop put the monster flawlessly within his weapon's striking distance. The monstrous boss stood totally clueless in his trap. Jan readied his compact rapid-fire mechanical crossbow, locked in with a base 5 attack damage. It boasted an 8-point firing rate, 30 range, and a crazy busted triple-shot passive ability. Click. 3 deadly bolts shredded the wind. 2 whizzed past, but 1 violently pierced a weak point, ticking off a pathetic -1 damage. The massive health bar chipped down to 299 over 300. That insane level penalty meant his raw damage was essentially non-existent. Whenever he connected, he only scraped off a single hit point. But who cared? He came armed to the teeth with 9,000 brutal steel bolts. He would literally slowly bleed this titan dry. Twang. Another volley fired. 2 bolts completely whiffed the target again, yet another miraculously struck a critical zone, chipping away just -1 damage. The beast's vitality ticked down to 298 over 300. The alpha boss went absolutely feral, charging wildly. Jan just smirked, whispering for it to give up. This legendary glitched safe zone had been heavily abused by future veterans. Another merciless barrage rained down. Same painful outcome, 2 total misses, and 1 brutal precision strike, dishing out a measly -1 damage. He spammed this exact lethal rhythm over and over. Even after an eternity of shooting, his insane inventory still held 8,063 deadly bolts. That massive stash slowly dwindled to 5,016. 3 agonizing hours later, the towering boss's health gauge was finally flashing deep red. Burning through almost 4,000 rounds, this tanky monstrosity somehow stubbornly refused to die. The enraged beast unleashed a deafening, earth-shaking roar. Jan ruthlessly pulled the trigger. Same old story. 2 shots sliced empty air, while 1 perfectly pierced a weak spot for exactly -1 damage. That final agonizing chip damage fully shattered its health bar. Jan casually leaped off his sniper perch as the system flashed. Alpha boss eliminated. Thanks to that suicidal level difference, he triggered an insane 1,800% multiplier, instantly soaking up 8,290 sweet experience points. A glorious golden light washed over him. Level 2 achieved. Cheesing high-level beasts like this seriously showered him in broken amounts of experience. It power leveled him instantly. Eagerly sifting through the glowing loot, he snatched up a slick bronze-tier assassin's dagger. On top of that, he bagged +5 copper coins and +1 savage horn dagger. Weapon rarities and conviction ranged from basic whiteboard, bronze, silver, gold, all the way to mythic legendary. Since elite, lord, and alpha spawns were basically unicorns in this brutal game world, only roughly 1 out of 1,000 kills actually dropped stat-boosting gear, meaning literally every single enchanted item was worth an absolute fortune. Bronze-tier weapons were absolute game-changers early on. They completely overpowered standard gear with a massive 20% damage boost and always packed a juicy bonus stat. Jan's veteran memory confirmed this alpha usually dropped solid level 5 tier gear. Regardless, this fresh bronze dagger could easily fetch a premium 3 silver coins on the market. But before cashing out, he absolutely had to appraise its hidden stats. Suddenly, a sweet system ping interrupted him. His rugged leather leg guards just sold out at the auction. A crisp +8 copper coins hit his digital wallet. Right on cue, a private message from Flying Stone popped up. The guy was absolutely hyped, confirming Jan's leaked coordinates were a total goldmine that worked flawlessly. He had aggressively farmed 2 rare stealth manuals already, instantly doubling his grinding speed like a total speedrunner. Tripping over this massive exploit, Flying Stone felt incredibly guilty for lowballing Jan. Giving up just 1 single manual? That cheat code info was worth way more. Jan brushed off the guilt trip instantly. He casually reminded him that if that ultra-rare night owl perception skill drops, just mail over a copy. Swearing total loyalty, Flying Stone promised to instantly ship it the second it appeared. But his curiosity was burning. How exactly did a pathetic level 0 noob know about such a god-tier farming zone? Jan effortlessly lied, claiming he had hardcore grinded a previous main account, nuked it, and simply re-rolled into the thief class. Flying Stone swallowed the bait completely. He instantly fanboyed, totally convinced Jan was some undercover top-tier veteran, probably a legendary sweat who dominated the server rankings. Shifting the mood, Flying Stone dropped a far heavier question. Did Jan's old main ever conquer that hellish fallen shaman camp dungeon? His elite guild had been repeatedly slamming their heads against it for days, but every single desperate raid ended in an absolute, humiliating party wipe, costing them oceans of hard-earned experience and nearly shattering all their gear. Jan kept his cool, offering the ultimate dungeon blueprint. The asking price? 2 silver coins. Take it or leave it. Flying Stone froze, completely mind-blown. A flawless, clear guide for this hellish raid actually existed? Trusting our boy's track record, he locked in that 2 silver price tag and rushed off to hype up his squad leader. Hanging up, Jan locked eyes with his mysterious new blade. Time to uncover its hidden potential. He fast-traveled back to Tracktown, making a beeline straight for the local appraiser. The elf NPC shot him a glance, demanding the loot in question. Jan smoothly slid the dagger across the counter. 10 copper coins for the unseal, she declared. Jan blinked in surprise. Normally, NPC appraisal taxes, in conviction, hovered around 5% of the vendor trash value. Whatever, he tossed her the 10 coppers. Magic flared from her fingertips. The stat window popped up, revealing a bronze tier horn dagger. Level 0, plus 18 attack damage, plus 5 raw strength, weighing 1 pound. It was strictly rogue class locked, yet completely faction-free. Jan was genuinely shook. Adding up these insane base multipliers, this bad boy packed 10 extra damage over any standard starting blade. That massive stat gap practically guaranteed him early game god status. His lethal arsenal was set. With Vital Strike and Stealth unlocked, he only needed one missing puzzle piece. Pure, sustained survivability. Rogues craving hardcore battle stamina usually grinded either alchemy or field medic perks. Chugging red pots and buffs felt amazing, instantly skyrocketing HP back to max, but those drained your wallet fast. However, for a time-traveling pro like Jan, farming gold was absolute child's play. He could easily bulk buy potions down the road. Therefore, mastering the combat bandage tree fit his current meta perfectly. Hitting up a vendor, he grabbed 2 basic underwater breathing vials. Next, he officially locked in his combat medic abilities. Journeying toward Rando Lake, he dodged several randoms, fiercely grinding mobs in the wild. Out in these lawless zones, toxic player beefs sparked constantly. Sweaty killstealers triggered massive PK brawls daily, so he kept his guard way up while traveling. His route cut straight through Fisherman Village before hitting the lake. Normally, wiping out that mob density demanded an army of 1,000 tryhards. For a solo player right now, ghosting through with stealth was the only option. Suddenly, a server-wide broadcast flashed. The notorious Victorious Return Guild declared a total lockdown of the map. In exactly 3 minutes, they arrogantly commanded all nearby randoms to evacuate immediately. Just like his past timeline, these absolute tyrants kept throwing their weight around, violently griefing solo players. In his previous life, this same squad ruthlessly hunted him for months, but this run, he was going to savor his revenge. Activating Shadow Walk, he glided past the aggro zones completely undetected. His camouflage eventually timed out. Instantly, a blazing fireball whizzed toward his face. A player named Purple Fire just initiated combat. The interface chimed, granting him a 5-minute window for justified, penalty-free self-defense. This Purple Fire guy was a level 3 elemental caster. He coldly smirked, barking that lone wolves were banned from this turf, and ordered him to scram. Jan raised an eyebrow, slightly amused at bumping into a Victorious Return rat so soon. However, catching this guildie entirely alone meant an easy counterkill. When fighting a squishy mage, you only have 2 options. Either gap close instantly, or sprint for your life. Retreating wasn't in Jan's DNA. That flame burst required a 2-second cast animation, giving him plenty of time to strike. Jan exploded forward. His bronze blade plunged directly into the caster's chest. Critical hit, minus 23 HP. Purple Fire staggered backward, furiously screaming that this trash rogue was begging for death. Their entire massive guild had already claimed this grinding spot as their own. He immediately detonated a violent fire ring. Jan tanked a heavy 39 damage hit. Without blinking, Jan instantly chugged a basic health pot. Ice cold, Jan warned the mage that letting an assassin within melee range was a fatal mistake. Slash, another brutal 36 damage. Purple Fire fiercely counterattacked, swinging a flame-engulfed staff. He mocked Jan, thinking a pathetic level 2 rogue was easy prey. He flashed a sinister sneer, telling him to reflect on this massive screw-up while waiting at the respawn point. After eating so many magic bursts, Jan's health bar should be basically gone. The mage smugly calculated he had 20 HP tops. Meanwhile, the caster sat comfortably at 51 HP. One final fiery blast would easily end this pathetic little duel. He was ready to teach this noob the brutal consequences of crossing the almighty Victorious Return Guild. He channeled his finisher, but Jan fearlessly dashed right through the heat. Our boy gripped his dagger with lethal intent. Boom! He triggered Vital Strike. Purple Fire froze in pure, terrified shock. How the hell was this even happening? Yan was just a weak level 2 rogue, yet he stood tall after eating a direct fireball. The mage's brain completely short-circuited. Just how many health points was Yan packing? The sudden realization struck him like lightning. Bro definitely chugged an instant recovery potion, yet that sparked a massive plot hole. Homeboy was just a level 2 solo rogue. How the heck could he afford those buffs? Yan smirked coldly, telling him to ponder that mystery while respawning back at the beginner village. Purple fire vanished into blinding pixels, dropping his weapon. Yan snatched it up instantly. A level 0 bronze staff, not too shabby. He figured he could pawn it off for 10 coppers. But Yan sensed a far bigger storm brewing. The victorious Return Guild goons were definitely rushing this location. He needed to dip, like, right this second. Spot on. The squad materialized moments later, radiating killer intent. Hostiles were swarming the exact shoreline where Purple Fire just got wrecked. One guy barked orders to hunt down the assassin. Their crosshairs locked onto Yan as a vanguard lunged forward. Screaming that escape was impossible, the dude cleaved his heavy blade downward, unleashing the devastating one-strike sword technique. Plot twist. Yan blurred past the fatal strike with insane agility. While sprinting, he slammed an underwater breathing potion. His hunter instantly connected the dots. The rogue was aiming for a watery getaway. The vanguard shrieked for backup as a teammate instantly triggered a blazing flame slash. Another popped their charge skill, sinking their deadly combo. The blades grazed his shadow, but Yan hit the gas and swan dived into the deep. The hit squad slammed the brakes. Literally, nobody packed any aquatic breathing buffs. Reinforcements quickly flooded the zone, demanding the exact coordinates of the killer. The squad confessed. The target literally vanished into the depths. Someone muttered that Purple Fire must have already respawned back at base. The captain commanded them to direct message Purple Fire for the rogue's username. Seconds later, the vital intel dropped. The assassin went by Ni Yan. Carving that username into his brain, he swore absolute vengeance for their next encounter. Down in the abyss, Yan glided smoothly. He exhaled a massive sigh, finally ghosting that annoying victorious Return Guild mob. Suddenly, his ultimate prize gleamed through the murky currents. He popped the loot chest open. Jackpot. The legendary Fishman water-repelling pearl rested inside. This epic artifact permanently granted the crucial underwater breathing passive. Triggering it meant 30 solid minutes of aquatic survival, backed by a 12-hour cooldown timer. Honestly, it was pretty common loot. But for Yan's current meta, it was an absolute game-changer. Suddenly, a lethal trident torpedoed toward him. Panic spiked his veins. Fighting aquatic mobs in their own territory was pure suicide. The entire Fishman aggro was locked onto him. Boom! The nearby Fishman settlement suddenly erupted into pure chaos. The terrifying mob instantly dropped his aggro, sprinting back toward the fiery blast. Yan smirked wickedly. The victorious Return Guild had unknowingly pulled his aggro. Their massive blunder cleared the entire zone perfectly. With 0 hostiles left, he navigated the depths until he stumbled upon Lake Heart Island. He pushed toward the surface. Breaking through the ripples, his eyes locked onto a lone figure standing by the shoreline. His breath hitched in recognition. It was Yao Yao, his legendary holy mage comrade from his past timeline. Bumping into her post-regression was absolutely wild. They shared a heavily complicated, emotional history in that previous life. Was the system literally aligning their destinies again? Yao Yao flinched as he emerged, dripping wet, her guard instantly shooting up in panic. With 3 vicious mobs tailing her, she genuinely thought this random rogue would play or kill her. Instead, Yan dashed past her, burying a brutal vital strike into a monster's weak point. Yao Yao instinctively blasted a holy judgment, their synergy instantly sparking. The beasts quickly shattered into digital dust. She nervously thanked her savior, while Yan brushed off the praise and dropped his username. Hearing that name, she totally froze. Could this be the exact same Yan from the rumors? She quickly revealed her own tag, as Yao Yao. Grateful for the epic assist, she practically begged to add him to her friend list to return the massive favor later. Yan smashed the accept button without hesitation. He casually probed about her solo presence on Lake Heart Island, assuming she was grinding some hardcore quest. She revealed she was painfully farming water spiders for their rare drop, water sacks. Yan smirked, admitting those exact mobs were his current target too, except his bounty demanded fine silk. He pitched a dual carry party setup, and she instantly locked in on the offer. She even flexed by handing over a solid stack of fine silk she had already looted from her previous kills. A trade ping flashed, dropping 12 items straight into Yan's inventory. That stash easily clocked in around 36 copper coins on the market, but Yao Yao couldn't care less about the currency. Avoiding the massive experience point penalty from a death screen was worth way more than pocket change. Plus, without the specific quest line triggered, hoarding that silk was basically taking up dead inventory space anyway. Yan gladly pocketed the free loot. Alert! The terrifying water spider leader suddenly spawned. The party system locked them in together as Yan blitzed forward with a lethal vital strike. Yao Yao cast Holy Judgment. They dealt -70 damage total. The furious monster immediately pivoted, locking its deadly aggro onto her. "Jump now!" Yan roared. He purposely dragged the monster's aggro, carving out a perfectly safe attack window for her. His crossbow snapped, burying bolts into the arachnid. Catching the rhythm, Cha-Cha immediately unleashed Holy Judgment and Holy Strike. Another devastating -70 flashed above. Within moments, the massive water spider leader finally collapsed in total defeat. Cha-Cha felt completely mind-blown. Their battle synergy flowed with terrifying, absolute perfection. Taking down a brutal leader-class monster felt like an absolute breeze. She had never experienced such insane carry potential. Despite just crossing paths today, their movements clicked flawlessly, mirroring veteran partners who had survived countless brutal raid battles together. Catching her intense stare, Yan casually asked if something was bothering her. Blushing, she immediately stammered out a quick denial. Recovering, she openly praised his insane combat mechanics, genuinely confused why a top-tier player like him was solo grinding. Yan casually shrugged, claiming the solo life just suited his style. Hearing this, she instantly pitched him a massive offer. Her guild was currently mapping out the Tracktown Treant Forest raid, and she desperately wanted him in their active squad. Yan interrogated her about their shield warrior's exact defense and health stats. That Treant Forest was a brutal level 3 zone. Facing the Treant King, a nightmare sub-elite boss, required massive tank stats. Otherwise, surviving that dungeon run was absolutely impossible. She revealed their frontline consisted of 2 shield warriors, packing 53 defense and exactly 230 health points. Frowning, Yan warned that those stats were dangerously borderline. That terrifying boss possessed a lethal 2% critical strike chance. Without hitting the 60 defense threshold, tanks would literally get one-shotted into absolute oblivion. Plus, the priest's healing output must perfectly match the intense damage spikes. Cha-Cha gasped in pure shock. A critical hitting Treant King was totally unheard of. 0 forum guides had ever mentioned it. Mind completely blown, she demanded to know his secret info source. Her entire squad had spent grueling days prepping this exact raid. Backing out now was totally impossible. Hitting that 60 defense threshold meant securing at least one piece of ultra-rare bronze armor, which felt basically impossible to farm. Smirking, Yan revealed a hidden alternative existed. Desperate, she immediately begged for the secret. Yan smirked, dropping a massive bombshell. The fix was simple: let him command her squad. While totally respecting his insane power, Cha-Cha knew convincing her stubborn guildmates would be pure torture. Still, she swore to try her absolute hardest. Pivoting focus. Yan sifted through the epic boss loot. As the glowing item manifested, Cha-Cha eagerly stepped up to appraise it. Yan mentally praised her early mastery of appraisal. The blinding drop revealed fine silk gauntlets, a prime bronze-grade relic for level 0. Boasting +2 defense and +3 magic, this 1-pound treasure was universally equipable by magic casters across any faction. Recognizing it as her absolute best in slot gear, Yan casually tossed it over. Stunned, she immediately worried about his personal share. Yan smirked, flexing his personal loot. He secured ultra-rare fine silk from the corpse, alongside a highly coveted thief skill tome titled Assassinate. Claiming only those 2 legendary drops, he satisfied her worries. She beamed brightly, completely agreeing that his massive loot haul was totally fair. Thrilled, she equipped the epic fine silk gauntlets. Suddenly, glaring red system text warned everyone. Mandatory server shutdown in exactly 3 minutes. Log off immediately. Facing the imminent server wipe, Cha-Cha promised they would reunite soon. Yan threw up a casual peace sign before his avatar dissolved completely. His epic conviction grind was officially paused. Blinking against harsh reality, our boy finally yanked off his heavy VR helmet. Morning sunlight flooded his room on day 2. While his digital avatar rested, he knew his fragile physical vessel desperately needed a massive power-up. Cao Shu would soon surround himself with elite bodyguards. Yan absolutely refused to remain a weak, sitting duck any longer. Stepping outside, a massive truck nearly obliterated him, sending him crashing backward. A panicked bystander immediately sprinted over, screaming to check if he survived. Yan looked up. It was Yao. Shock paralyzed his mind, but instead of offering a gentle greeting, she fiercely scolded his reckless death wish, gesturing at his bleeding wounds. Panic-stricken, she bolted toward her car for an emergency medical kit. Yao, his quiet desk mate, represented the most agonizing regret of his previous life. Thanks to her incredibly timid nature back then, he completely failed to confess his burning feelings. Tragically, her close bond with him marked her as prey for Cao Shu's ruthless Century Financial Group, utterly shattering her mental health in the end. Now, she furiously patched his bleeding scrapes, begging him to stop courting such senseless danger. Hovering dangerously close, she completely lost her focus. When their eyes suddenly locked, a fiery blush immediately exploded across her face. Utterly flustered, she demanded if he was even processing her lecture. Smirking softly, Jan calmly promised he heard every word, yet internally, his veteran soul screamed the exact same truth from his past life. She was still lethally, devastatingly cute. Pouting, she spun around, grumbling that babysitting his reckless butt was a total nightmare. Throwing a hasty goodbye, she quickly sped off. Gripping the wheel, she furiously debated if real-world Jan matched his badass game persona. Clearly, some hidden spark within him had violently awakened. He radiated fierce confidence, perfectly mirroring that untouchable virtual warrior. Meanwhile, Jan's heart soared wildly, after reuniting with his lost love, but he remembered that Psycho Chaoshu would ruthlessly annihilate his world. This timeline, he swore to forge an absolutely unstoppable foundation immediately. This was his only shot at rewriting his tragic past. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. It was Tang Yao. Yao demanded to know where he had vanished to for the past 48 hours, urging Yan to hustle over immediately. Hearing, Yao's voice lifted a massive weight off Yan's chest. Back in his previous timeline, when Yan hit rock bottom, this absolute legend secretly funded him, risking everything against Shu's wrath just to keep Yan afloat. However, Yao's fatal flaw was his obsession with girls. Last lifetime, a petty jealousy dispute sparked a massive bar brawl. Tragically, he messed with a terrifyingly powerful VIP. They brutally murdered Yao, tossing his battered body into a pitch-black alleyway. But this time, Yan swore on his soul he would shatter that grim destiny. Soon enough, the two finally reunited. Yao slung an arm around Yan, laughing about finally catching this slippery punk. He immediately hyped up Conviction, the hottest new virtual reality game. It was completely taking over the world. When asked if he logged in, Yan casually mentioned he just hit level 2. Grinning wildly, Yao called that decent progress. He then dragged Yan toward the Player Killer Lounge, bragging about his own elite level 3 arcane mage status. This underground hub was a hardcore gaming arena. Here, players synchronized their avatars for brutal, no-holds-barred competitive combat. Fortunately, getting slaughtered here wouldn't ruin their actual account progression. However, since digital blood was still being spilled, high-stakes gambling dominated the scene. Players threw down rare loot or cash, a toxic thrill Yao absolutely adored, despite his spectacularly awful losing streak. Wei Kai locked eyes with Yao, instantly mocking him for returning to donate more free cash. Scoffing, Yao fired back that the night was still young. Kai's arrogant gaze then shifted toward Yan standing quietly nearby. He smirked, taunting if the previous beatdown hadn't taught him a lesson. Yao confidently clapped Yan's shoulder, declaring that, with his brother here, these chumps wouldn't dare pull anything. Kai narrowed his eyes suspiciously. Yan radiated an eerie calmness today, making Kai wonder what exactly sparked this sudden, fearless aura. Cutting the tension, Yan coldly ordered them to stop yapping and start the clash. He slammed down a crisp 200 per round. Kai snatched the bet, slapping his helmet on as the countdown initiated. Yao, a level 3 arcane mage, clashed against Kai, a level 3 berserker. Yan instantly calculated the devastating odds against his friend. At level 3, berserkers unlocked the terrifying charge ability, an absolute death sentence for a squishy spellcaster. Worse yet, the arena was a flat, barren wasteland. Evading attacks was practically impossible here. In Yan's eyes, Yao was already a dead man walking. A random bystander suddenly nudged Yan, telling him to look away. Yao was getting totally humiliated out there. The stranger arrogantly challenged Yan to a duel instead. Yan casually agreed to a single round, flatly stating he would walk away if the prize pool was pathetic. Irritation flashed across the challenger's face, warning the rookie to drop the cocky attitude. Vowing to crush his ego, the guy flaunted his 700 cash stash, demanding they settle things in the virtual arena. The stage was instantly locked. Yan, a level 2 wind thief, faced Shifeng, a level 2 ranger. The digital landscape materialized. Dense bamboo stalks surrounded them. The second the match initiated, both combatants triggered stealth. Instantly, the arena felt completely abandoned. Shifeng silently scaled a towering bamboo shoot. He venomously whispered that this arrogant brat was about to taste utter despair. But despite scanning every shadow, his target was absolutely nowhere. Little did this amateur know, Yan's veteran instincts had already calculated this exact sniper positioning. Armed with a decade of assassin mastery, blending into the void was basically breathing for him. A ghost materialized right behind the ranger. Cold steel flashed. Yan's deadly dagger plunged ruthlessly into Shifeng's exposed jugular, violently shredding his health from 110 down to 70. Total panic gripped Shifeng. He never even heard a single footstep. Thrashing wildly, he swung his blade backward, only to slice empty air. Yan stood chillingly out of reach, whispering, it was game over. Vital strike activated. A massive -70 burst across the screen. Shifang's avatar instantly disintegrated. The surrounding crowd froze in absolute shock at the blindingly fast execution. Watching Shifang get completely folded by Yan in seconds shattered their minds, crushing a level 2. Rookie Ranger looked like a merciless slaughter rather than a duel. Shifang ripped his helmet off, utterly bewildered, brain short-circuiting over his sudden demise. Yan executed barely 3 movements, yet his lethal precision was terrifyingly flawless. An absolute masterclass in assassination. Spectators questioned when this kid became such a cold-blooded monster. After all, this was the same pushover, who constantly choked down disrespect. Seeing that timid loser execute such a god-tier maneuver defied all logic. Yan pivoted back, casually asking his best friend about the duel. Yao groaned, complaining he got brutally wiped twice in 12 seconds flat. He whined about Kai unlocking the broken Berserker ability, Anti-Magic Aura, an absolute nightmare counter for his spellcasting. Shaking his head, Yan calmly explained, that barrier only mitigates a tiny fraction of spell damage, making it practically useless if handled correctly. By perfectly syncing spellcasts with enemy footsteps, kiting a meathead Berserker was a total joke. Yao shamefully admitted his mechanics were garbage. He spammed all his cooldowns, letting Kai bridge the gap and instantly obliterate him. Processing Yan's elite advice, Yao just stared in pure disbelief. Yao was mind-blown by his friend's sudden gaming IQ. Begging for answers, he asked where Yan learned this. Instead of dropping lore, Yan just flexed his freshly won cash right in his face. Yao's jaw literally dropped. A random mob nearby got tilted by Yan's massive ego. Stepping up aggressively, he aimed a punch at Yan for taking their loot. He wanted blood, but Yan effortlessly caught his fist and completely body-slammed him into the dirt. In his past life, Yan forged his physique for absolute chaos, making him a literal menace. Yao stood paralyzed. Since when did his bro get this ridiculously OP? Feng instantly sweated, realizing Yan wasn't some basic NPC anymore. This guy was an absolute unit. Kai sensed the heavy aura too. Yan was built completely different now. The squad tried to jump in, but Kai instantly signaled them to back down. Even the boss was stunned by how easily Yan wrecked his lackey. Yan smirked, roasting Feng for being way too squishy after just 1 round. Kai's eyes turned dead serious, challenging Yan to a real duel. Yan completely agreed, but only if the prize pool was actually worth his time. Kai grinned, dropping 1,000 per round from his 3,000 stash. Yao panicked. Kai was a level 3 Berserker, while Yan was a measly level 2 Wind Thief. Unbothered, Yan maxed the bet, 3,000. Kai burst out laughing, totally accepting the challenge. No way a trash-tier Wind Thief could defy destiny against him. Yao violently shook Yan, asking if he was absolutely insane. Did he even have that kind of bank? Yan bluntly replied, nope. Left with 0 options, Yao fronted the cash, nervously joking that if this went south, they were diving into the grave together. Seconds later, they spawned in-game. The epic showdown, Yan versus Kai. They spawned into a massive wasteland, locked onto each other. Yao sweated at the awful map design. Open fields were absolute nightmares for stealth-reliant assassins. Kai arrogantly offered a map reset if Yan felt completely outclassed. Yan merely smirked, rejecting the pity. Activating his stealth skill, he vanished completely. Kai aggressively scanned the zone, completely clueless to Yan's coordinates. Yan calculated that stepping on grass would instantly leak his location. Kai was definitely tracking the terrain physics, so Yan weaponized the ultimate camouflage, the wind itself. Kai suddenly felt an eerie breeze surging. His smirk vanished completely. Losing an assassin's aggro meant pure danger. He gripped his massive blade defensively. Nobody had ever perfectly manipulated stealth mechanics with this insane mastery. The grass meant to expose Yan was now baiting Kai's vision. Then, the breeze flatlined. Yan froze like a ghost, hunting for the next airstrike. The second it roared, he would execute his combo. Kai desperately guessed the rookie was creeping at turtle speed to avoid aggro. Trusting the bent grass, he assumed Yan was dead ahead. Suddenly, a violent draft slashed his flank. Faster than a blink, a lethal blade pierced his spine. His health plummeted from 165 to 130. Kai snapped backward, swinging his greatsword like a maniac. How did this rat flank him? He instantly spammed Whirlwind Slash. But Yan had godly game knowledge. Heavy weapons spamming Whirlwind Slash always triggered a nasty lag frame, lasting 1 crucial second. That tiny window meant absolute victory. Kai's giant attack slashed empty air. A complete whiff. Yan punished the frame drop, triggering Vital Strike. The crowd literally stopped breathing. Critical damage flashed. -96. Kai's life bar melted to 34 out of 165. Enraged, he ignited Flame Slash. His colossal blade erupted in hellfire, charging Yan with murderous intent. Yao screamed for his boy to evade. Yan already predicted the animation. Kai wanted the flame knockback to force a reset, but assassins, absolutely thrive in the danger zone. His HP was perfectly fine. Eating the damage was better than losing his combo distance. Minus 56. Kai raged hard. This madman actually face-tanked it. He spat in disgust, calling him a cocky fool, immediately chaining a strike slash. The heavy hit connected, followed by a brutal forward dash. Yao gasped in terror. Charge. It triggers hard stun. If it lands, it is totally game over. Kai's lackeys started trash-talking, claiming Yan was just faking his pro status, eating combos like a total noob. Then their jaws hit the floor. Yan perfectly dodged the point-blank stun. Charge had range, but daggers had speed. Spotting the final golden window, Yan knew this was endgame. A flawless slice. Crimson erupted from Kai's throat. The massive impact launched him backward. Kai's health points plummeted to 0, perfectly matching Yan's calculations. He barely grazed the rushing attack, yet his blade connected first. Minus 40 damage flashed, but it meant nothing. The system declared Yan the absolute victor. Everyone froze. A level 2 underdog actually crushed a level 3 berserker. Kai's entire crew stood completely paralyzed. How could this punk predict a berserker's exact attack radius? His terrifying battle awareness defied logic. Even Kai felt absolutely mind-blown. Utter defeat. Yao sprinted over, screaming with pure hype over this insane upset. Yet Yan casually shrugged, calling the epic win a lucky accident. Yao definitely wasn't buying that humble act. This flawless victory proved Yan possessed terrifying game knowledge. He instantly begged for arcane mage coaching. Yan nodded without missing a single beat. Suddenly, Kai's imposing squad marched straight toward them. Yao stiffened up, panicking that they might spark another brawl. Instead, Kai swallowed his pride and honorably accepted his crushing loss. He formally yielded, tossing a chill invite to hang at his bar anytime. His crew then faded into the shadows. A confused lackey questioned this surprising respect. Kai smirked, claiming true bosses gaze toward the future. That kid had evolved into an absolute monster, and his potential was terrifyingly limitless. Making enemies out of future legends was purely foolish. Meanwhile, Yan signaled Yao to finally bounce. Pockets heavy with fresh cash, he offered to buy an epic feast. Those highly anticipated arcane mage tutorials would strictly happen online tonight. Darkness swallowed the city. Yan crushed an intense workout session, secretly marveling at his incredibly shredded, peak physical condition. Possessing such unstoppable youthful energy felt absolutely godlike. Sweating pouring down, he prepped to dive back into the ruthless world of conviction. That deadly Treant Forest raid with Cha-Cha's squad awaited him. Slipping the sleek helmet on, his consciousness instantly materialized inside the virtual realm. Conviction's interface aggressively spammed his vision. A glowing friend request from Player Z hovered before his eyes. Plus, Flying Stone wired one shiny silver coin straight into his vault. The genius strategy functioned flawlessly, conquering the brutal fallen shaman camp. That extra coin served as pure gratitude. Desperate for more, the player aggressively begged for the highly coveted Augmat Muddy Swamp blueprint, practically sweating from desperation. Yan casually accepted Z's ping, knowing his bro Yao was waiting. Since they were practically standing together, dragging him into the treacherous Treant Forest raid seemed perfect. Regarding that swamp intelligence, flooding the market with non-stop cheats was terrible business. Over-delivering sparks dangerous suspicions. Letting them suffer absolute despair first would massively skyrocket that golden guide's final market value. Business handled, Yan locked his predatory gaze onto a juicy secret. A lone figure sat casting lines right by the shimmering water. Closing the distance, a familiar face emerged. Physician Blevins. Stepping into his aura, violently activated the ultra-rare hidden quest. Blevins demanded his harvested fine silks. Without hesitating, Yan dumped 30 shimmering rolls forward. The medic smiled warmly at this glorious loot. Returning the favor, he tossed 30 special silks back into Yan's inventory, unlocking an exclusive chance to master a game-breaking medical technique. A golden prompt flared. Master Intermediate Combat Bandage? This was the exact holy grail he needed. He smashed accept immediately. Wielding this legendary craft, he could forge elite-tier healing wraps. Costing 10 silks, each one aggressively regenerates 20 health points. While requiring a grueling 10-second channel, players could entirely cancel it after just 3 seconds. Best of all, it violently heals your dying squadmates. Boom! Physician Blevins' commission hit a pathetic 20% completion rate. Yan's eyes narrowed dangerously. 20%? He totally expected an instant climax. Then reality struck like lightning. A brutal multi-stage chain quest. Blevins smirked, greedily demanding even more materials to fuel his endless research. More exquisite silk was absolutely mandatory. Suddenly, a frantic ping shattered the silence. Cha-Cha! Her squad was fully loaded and screaming for him. Firing back a quick confirmation, Yan dashed off. juggling this brutal chain quest while commanding Chacha's elite strike force through the cursed woods, demanded absolute god-tier precision. His primary mission? Ruthlessly grinding the legendary Featherfall jewel hidden deep within. Reaching the bustling Tracktown warp gate, Z stood there nervously, tapping his foot. Yan practically swore an oath to carry him through hell, leaving Yao sweating about his absence. Stepping out of the magical void, Yan finally manifested. He commanded Z to stick close. They were going hunting for the monstrous Treant King. Suddenly, a heavy-hitting party approached. Chacha aggressively waved him down. The stunning Yulan radiated power right beside her. Z's jaw practically dropped into orbit. Two absolutely breathtaking goddesses. He violently elbowed Yan's ribs, frantically whispering about his insanely top-tier party. Chacha fiercely interrupted, bragging about her massive struggle to recruit the icy Yulan. She shot Yan a death glare. Do not mess this up. Lurking nearby, the wind thief Chen Bo scowled with pure toxic jealousy. Yulan politely nodded, questioning if Yan was this so-called mythical rogue, meant to blindly drag them through the nightmarish woods. Her sharp gaze analyzed his entire aura, unfazed, towering like a mountain, utterly composed. He radiated the terrifying pressure of a true veteran. Yan delivered a stone-cold promise, 100% absolute domination over this miserable dungeon. However, he instantly dropped a massive ultimatum. He claimed the absolute captain's throne. Every single player must blindly obey his tactical commands. That heavy demand instantly triggered the squad. Boiling with rage, Chen Bo barked back, demanding to know why they should bow to a stranger. What if this cocky amateur blindly marched them into a catastrophic team wipe? Before Yan reacted, Yulan viciously shut Bo down, coldly reminding the rogue about their absolute prior agreement. She ruthlessly interrogated his sudden rebellion. Bo's mind shattered. Why was his goddess fiercely defending a total nobody? Stepping up, she quickly apologized for her subordinate's disrespect. She handed Yan the reins, promising the entire squad would fall directly in line. With the power dynamic flipped, Yan laid down his absolute law. His orders were final, no exceptions. Got a problem? Take it up with him after the raid. Anyone weak-hearted could walk away right now. But if some rat tried sabotaging things, or triggered a brutal party wipe, he would show zero mercy. Lan, Chacha, Busy, and Mineral Water quickly locked in. Lan laid down the law to her guild. Yan's commands were officially her commands. Any backstabbing snake would get instantly exiled from her squad forever. Hearing this, Bo smashed the accept button, his face twisting in pure fury. Yan locked in their ultimate target, obliterating the Trent Forest dungeon. Besides himself and Z, the rest operated completely under Lan's banner. Personal grudges didn't matter, but dragging the squad into a death trap was strictly off-limits. He dropped a bombshell. Any bad call on his part meant a 10 silver coin payout to everyone. Jaws practically hit the floor. Lan nudged Chacha, whispering desperately about where she unearthed this absolute monster. His suffocating confidence made an impossible victory feel terrifyingly real. Chacha flashed a knowing smirk, fully betting on Yan's ultimate victory. Yan then demanded full introductions, alongside their exact stats. He started with the frontline meat shields. Boiled Water stepped up. Class, Shield Warrior. 61 base defense, 230 health points, 27 attack power, designated main tank. Next up was Boiling Water Dumplings, another heavy-duty defender, rocking 51 defense, 160 health, and 28 attack. Then came Blazing Flame, a pyromancer packing 32 magical damage. Pumpkin and the remaining members rattled off their specs. Stat check complete, Yan barked his tactical orders. Boiled Water needed a haste potion. Pumpkin required a maximum strength elixir. The squad froze in shock. These consumables were massive gold sinks, draining dozens of copper coins each. Heavy hesitation set in, players griping about the insane gold sink. Even a flawless Trent Forest clear might not cover this ridiculous upfront investment. Bo scoffed loudly. He assumed this pro had mechanical skills, but relying on heavy consumables just like a pay-to-win scrub? There was zero chance this clown could lead a successful raid. Z instantly clapped back, torching Bo for spewing absolute garbage. Z ruthlessly mocked him for being too broke for basic raid gear, mockingly offering him a charity loan. Bo's ego shattered, furiously barking back. Z stared him dead in the eyes. Yeah, he meant exactly him. Chacha clicked her tongue, questioning if crushing basic Trent Forest actually required sweating this hard over consumables, worried about negative profit margins. Yan flashed a mysterious smirk. The brutal truth would reveal itself shortly. Dropping gold on potions wasn't a reckless gamble. Why? Because basic difficulty was never on this absolute madman's radar. They were diving straight into the apocalyptic, highest-tier expert mode. Trusting the process, Lan commanded her squad to buy the potions. All complaints evaporated as the gold dropped. Geared to the teeth, the fully stacked raid party marched out, finally hitting a cursed forest clearing. dominated by an ancient, glowing monolith. Ordering the squad to hold position, Yan confidently stepped up and slammed his palm against the cold rune. The activation chant echoed out. Before the towering ancient woods, forgotten system runes blazed to life across the colossal, otherworldly stone surface. Wanderers who brave these cursed woods must drink the absolute first drops of celestial dawn dew. A phantom shepherd's melody pierces the canopy, forcefully dragging primordial tree spirits out of their eternal slumber. The Supreme Greenland Elder's Scout detects rotting traces of dark elf corruption. You grit your teeth, cursing those relentless, bloodthirsty dark elves for staining these sacred grounds. As the epic lore drop faded, the system window flashed, demanding a strict difficulty selection: easy, normal, hard, master, or the suicidal expert tier. Naturally, Yan instantly locked in expert. A massive teleportation matrix erupted beneath them. Spatial energy violently dragged them into Trent Forest. The system violently pinged. Warning: expert difficulty. Pure terror paralyzed the squad. Absolute chaos erupted as players desperately prayed. Yan's finger slipped. Surviving this hellscape was mathematically impossible, but Lan's eyes narrowed. A calculating monster like Yan didn't do fat finger mistakes. This suicidal nightmare was his master plan all along. Bo went completely nuclear. He screamed that Yan was intentionally griefing the run, raging over why they were dragged into this apocalyptic meat grinder, just to suffer a brutal party wipe and hemorrhage hard-earned experience. Yan's expression remained ice cold. His brutal response: quit crying or log out. Cha-Cha instantly stepped between them, aggressively reminding Bo that Yan was her VIP. If he wanted to bark, he needed to speak up. Instead of throwing massive shade like a coward, Bo stuttered a pathetic denial, while his guts twisted into pure rage. His pride bled, seeing her defend a stray. Cutting through the drama, Yan's voice stayed chillingly flat. Expert mode was just basic math. Mob health was merely buffed by 30%. Tanks just needed heavier armor scaling, while spellcasters simply had to unleash higher damage. That was the whole secret. As for the final raid boss, the Trent King, it possessed hidden mechanics he'd expose at the arena. Lan absorbed every word. He made it sound like a tutorial, but in hardcore raids, a tiny 1% stat gap meant total annihilation. A 30% buff was downright catastrophic. What exactly fueled his terrifying arrogance? Searching his eyes, Cha-Cha point-blank asked if he was truly ready. Yan casually dismissed the danger as a total joke. Swallowing his trash talk, Bo lurked in the background, plotting to watch how this guy, aiming to conquer an expert-tier domain. The squad plunged deeper into the shadowy woods. Suddenly, the underbrush came alive. Yan shouted a warning they had crossed into the treant's kill zone. Those creeping vines strike like lightning, so everyone had to scatter. Most players dodged instantly, but one guy totally froze: Bo. The thorny whips lashed out, snared him tight, and brutally slammed him down. The squad froze in terror. Dragged through the dirt, a panicked Bo shrieked for backup, desperately begging Captain Nirvana Flame, "Yan, save me," Bo wailed while being violently yanked away. Yan didn't miss a beat. He commanded boiled water and dumplings to flank right. Next, he ordered the paladins to form a shield wall, while the mages nuked the area. They executed flawlessly. The tanks parried the crushing wooden limbs as the mages unleashed an absolute elemental storm. The boss's health plummeted. A blade severed the snare, sending Bo crashing down. Furious, Bo snapped, accusing Yan of sabotaging him. He barked that Yan spotted the monster, but kept his mouth shut. How else was he so chill during that ambush? Yan didn't even blink. He told Bo to check his facts. They noticed the aggro simultaneously. Even the bulky tanks dodged, yet an agile thief failed? Yan seriously questioned how Bo even piloted that class. Zai immediately poured gasoline on the fire, mocking that blaming others for a massive skill issue was pure comedy. Any random noob off the street could play better. Bo's face flushed hot red. Lan intervened, telling him to drop it since he had already humiliated himself enough today. Stunned, Bo couldn't believe she was actually siding with the others. Yan sliced through the drama, snapping, "Enough yapping." They had to push forward. This cursed forest was rigged with deadly dark elf traps, so he'd carve the path personally. Meanwhile, Bo could finally witness how a god-tier thief actually operates. The party marched deeper with Yan taking the absolute front line. Suddenly, someone shrieked, "Incoming timber!" Yan's reflexes sparked instantly, ghosting past the crushing log with zero effort. He never broke his stride. Another trap snapped, a heavy net plummeted down. Yan casually shredded it in a single, fluid strike. Zai stood absolutely paralyzed, blown away by Yan's buttery smooth rogue mechanics. Lan nodded in deep respect, completely captivated. His footwork was flawlessly sharp. That insane trap disarming speed belonged in the pro leagues. Bo scoffed, muttering it was pure luck, claiming he could easily match it. Then click, the earth crumbled beneath his boots, plunging him straight toward a lethal spike pit. Death flashed before his eyes. but a firm grip snatched his ankle, violently yanking him back to solid, safe ground. Yan glared down, brutally stating he had never once witnessed such a garbage-tier thief in action. Bo exploded, wildly screaming that Yan deliberately baited him. Yan walked there flawlessly, so why did the floor collapse? Zai instantly roasted him, calling out his toxic, ungrateful attitude. Without Yan's insane reflexes, Bo would be a respawn screen. Yan didn't argue. He coldly stated facts. Bo triggered the mechanism. Nobody shoved his back. Did this clown seriously think following Yan's footsteps guaranteed absolute immortality? Then he dropped a devastating reality check. Trash like him didn't deserve the Wind Thief class. Bo's fragile ego completely shattered, and he instantly demanded a deathmatch. He lunged forward with pure murderous intent. Yan didn't even flinch or retreat an inch. He casually pinched the steel blade between two fingers, yawning that a solo duel was a joke. Bo needed to summon an entire squad. To make this even slightly entertaining, Lan jumped between them, commanding them to stand down. She dropped the harsh truth. Bo carelessly triggered the death trap, yet directed his pathetic rage at Yan. Cha-Cha chimed in, reminding him Yan literally spared his life, yet he still barked like a rabid dog. She was utterly disappointed in his character, but Bo stubbornly doubled down. He shrieked that Yan engineered this humiliation. Yan allegedly spotted the hazard and maliciously stayed completely silent. He whined about his squad backing an outsider over him. Boiled water ruthlessly shut him down. Yan was completely innocent here. Honestly, Bo was the one hunting for drama, and everyone knew it. Suddenly, a manic laugh escaped Bo, daring Yan to actually prove his hype. Let's see how this god clears the domain. With that, he rage quit the party. Cha-Cha frantically bowed, apologizing for the absolute mess. Yan simply waved it away. Honestly, shedding that toxic dead weight was massive for their survival. But this whole clown fiesta sparked a realization. To conquer high-tier raids in the future, he desperately needed to forge his own elite guild. Lan suggested shelving that chat. Right now, surviving this dungeon was priority number 1. 30 minutes vanished. Yan faded out of the shadows from his stealth recon mission. He dropped heavy news. The trail ahead was barricaded by 18 massive treants. Lan's face drained of color. That army was absolutely lethal. Wiping out that horde at once was suicide. Yan smirked, swearing he wasn't dumb enough to trigger an 18-monster death wish. With a swift bound, he vaulted onto a high branch. The squad stared up, totally baffled. Yan whipped out his sleek crossbow, ready to give these amateurs a legendary masterclass in absolute god-tier aggro manipulation. Squeezing the trigger, his weapon roared to life, unleashing 3 piercing bolts into the abyss simultaneously. Scattering across the battlefield, the crew dead-stopped in pure shock. Did this dude actually just misclick? Boiled water braced for a massive party wipe. Terrified, they aggroed every treant. Then Yan spoke, chillingly calculated. He commanded Boiled Water to tank the strike at position 289.288.212. The projectiles slammed home. Multiple treants locked on, flashing -11 damage. Lan stared, absolutely mind-blown. This was no accident. Firing a triple-shot hand crossbow to strike 3 distinct targets and perfectly manipulate aggro, it was a legendary technique she had only heard rumors of. Utterly speechless, she slowly turned toward Cha-Cha. Where on earth did she recruit this monster? 18 treants stood clustered together. One stray hit meant triggering an unstoppable deadly swarm. Yet Yan pinpointed the absolute perfect angle, dividing their aggro flawlessly. Such god-tier precision demanded absolutely superhuman visual reflexes and godlike mechanics. Even server-ranking assassins would completely choke here. She whispered that, with a carry like him on their squad, their survival odds would instantly skyrocket by at least 30%. Cha-Cha finally realized the truth. This dude wasn't just skilled. He existed in an entirely different dimension. As the treants charged, Yan instantly barked out commands. Boiled Water needed to tank one. Just anchor down, lock his center of gravity, and the beast would never break his defense. The rest of the squad must follow up and focus fire the remaining threat. Everyone moved. Boiled Water grounded himself and blocked, and exactly as Yan predicted, the front line held. Lan screamed for him to hold the line. Their targets were already shredded into pieces, and backup was incoming. The mages chanted in unison. Glowing spells erupted, slicing the deadly incoming vines straight out of the air. The massive treants crumbled. Suddenly, glowing loot dropped. Equipment, mage, bronze tier gauntlets. Their jaws dropped. This was expert mode, and merely 2 mobs had already dropped premium gear. Back when grinding easy mode, they never even saw a single piece of loot. Utterly starstruck, Cha-Cha stared at Yan. How did he orchestrate all this? Absolute madness. Yan kept his response icy cool. As promised, he would hard carry them through expert difficulty. Now they simply had to loop this strategy and slaughter every single treant in this forest. A fresh arrow pierced the air, striking another treant. The beast roared with blazing fury. Yan never hesitated, marching the squad forward step by step, ruthlessly tearing through the deadly dungeon. 20 minutes later, the squad took a breather, gathering in a tight circle. With a massive mountain of glowing loot piled center stage, someone blurted out that they never imagined expert mode being this insanely profitable. They had wiped barely one mob cluster, yet a treasure trove of gear had dropped. While the squad was totally distracted, shadows shifted dangerously behind them. Jan's sharp senses flared instantly. He smirked, warning them this was just getting started. The true bounties hidden within the expert tier tree and forest were infinitely more massive. He ordered his crew to rest up. Once fully recovered, they would push deeper into the abyss. Soon, they hit a dark crossroads. Jan pointed west. Lan frowned deeply. The western path was a total dead end. The eastern route was the standard play, but Jan simply demanded her trust, promising massive, unbelievable gains. What she completely missed was that this epic branching questline was deeply buried. At this current phase of the server, 0 players in conviction had unlocked this secret. The squad pushed forward into the shadows. Suddenly, an eerie flute melody echoed through the mist. Jan's gaze turned razor sharp. His target was finally here, the legendary treant herder Ian Pat. The ancient elder hailed as the forest's ultimate guardian. Eons ago, under his watchful protection, humanity and treants shared absolute harmony. But everything shattered. Vile, dark cultists invaded. The corrupted treants snapped their tethers, launching a brutal massacre on humanity. The mighty Greenland Council decided to finally intervene, vowing to execute the corrupted treant king. That was the dungeon's core tragic narrative. The ancient elder quickly spotted them, instantly screaming at them to flee. This cursed domain was pure nightmare fuel. The bloodthirsty treants slaughtered humans on sight, and once the cursed moonlight hit the forest, their demonic power would astronomically multiply. Unfazed, Jan confidently stepped up to greet him. Declaring their mission, Jan vowed to purge the corrupted treants and deliver divine justice. Ian Pat lost his mind, roaring at them to halt. The true monsters begging for death weren't his precious treants, but the disgusting parasites lurking beneath the soil. Those cowards were the ones begging for heaven's wrath. The elder's voice shook with unadulterated fury. Those wretched dark elves hijacked his magical flute, cowardly vanishing into the darkness, mocking everything. Lan whispered, completely stunned. Was this actually a hidden storyline? How did Jan magically trigger this obscure NPC? She desperately asked Cha-Cha what kind of gaming god she had recruited. Cha-Cha remained utterly speechless. Z stood frozen, mind completely blown. Since when did Jan evolve into this omniscient deity? Without unlocking this exact hidden quest, slaying the terrifying expert tier treant king was literally impossible. Jan maintained his icy, calm persona. He revealed he had already sensed those vile rats. The second he breached the forest, he prayed for holy light to vaporize their corruption. Ian Pat's ancient eyes blazed with newfound hope. This warrior sensed their foul presence. He quickly explained 2 rogue dark elves stole his flute. That theft was the absolute root of this nightmare. Without it, the forest fell to absolute madness. He handed Jan a special item, Dust of Appearance, holding 3 precious charges. This epic dust exposes all stealth targets within a massive 30-yard radius for 20 straight seconds. He begged Jan to hunt those rats down, slaughter them, and reclaim his sacred flute. Only then could the treant king be defeated. Jan confidently accepted. Gripping the magical item tightly, he commanded his stunned squad to keep up. Tossing a sturdy rope over the cliff edge, he fearlessly dived into the abyss. His teammates frantically scrambled behind him. While advancing, Lan nervously asked if he actually knew where the dark elves hid. Jan confidently smirked and said yes. Squeezing through a jagged cliffside fissure, the crew vanished into a secret passage. Jan signaled forward. The prey was cornered. They were about to box these fools in and crush them completely, Cha-Cha whispered, questioning how he sensed their exact location. Jan smirked, revealing those stalkers had shadowed their every move since step 1. Absolute dread instantly paralyzed her. She scanned the empty shadows. 0 trace, yet Jan felt their hostile auras creeping closer. Jan warned that these dark elves were hyper-paranoid. One sloppy strike, and those slippery assassins would vanish forever. Hunting them down twice? 0 chance. The assassins lurked in total silence, patiently waiting for the squad to mess up. Jan chucked the revealing dust. Instantly, the cloaked stalkers materialized from thin air. Panic struck the assassins. They bolted for the exit, only to crash straight into Boiled Water and Z holding the line. Cornered, the assassins lunged. Boiled Water planted his feet, tanking the brutal slash, while Z charged a blazing inferno. A scorching blast erupted, incinerating one assassin on impact. Lan and the squad instantly swarmed the battlefield to dominate. Jan barked the kill command. The target loot was theirs for the taking. He dashed forward, clashing head to head. Deadly claws ripped through the air. Yan smoothly sidestepped, delivering a flawless, lethal counter right to the vitals. -50 damage. Lan capitalized instantly, her blade cleanly slicing off a limb. The shadowy threat collapsed into dust. Yan breathed out, snatching the rare drop. Armed with this artifact, dominating the treant forest just became a total joke. This insane item had 0 level requirements. Once blown, it unleashed pure terror straight into the souls of plant monsters. It slashed enemy stats by 50% and boosted user health by 300 points. The catch? Treant Forest. Exclusive limits. Cha-Cha suddenly hollered. She unspooled a mysterious parchment. As Yan touched it, a glowing system alert flashed before his eyes. Secret quest unlocked. He needed to speed this classified intel to General Veritran, exposing the upcoming Dark Elf ambush. Unable to decode the ancient runes, she asked for answers. Yan casually revealed it was a massive hidden lore route. Post-dungeon wipe, they simply had to cash it in back at base. The squad absolutely hyped over the bonus loot. Motivation skyrocketed through the roof. Yan tossed the legendary instrument straight to Boiled Water, crowning him the ultimate frontline wall. Boiled Water stood stunned as his health spiked by +300. Staring down the zone, Boss suddenly felt like nothing. Pushing deeper, Z stared in total awe. Entering this death trap, half the squad had completely questioned their new leader. Now, respect was absolute. Pride swelled in their chests. Suddenly, the woods erupted into chaos as they clashed against monstrous timber. Colossal wooden giants toppled like dominoes. Sifting through the epic loot, a shiny bronze tier buckler caught their eyes. Rocking a +10% defense buff, Boiled Water checked his trash gear. This new drop was an absolute game changer. Lon stepped up, looking hesitant. She knew asking was greedy, considering his genius carrying them through this nightmare raid, but she begged to purchase the buckler. This single upgrade could unlock high-tier dungeons for them without his carry. Yan brushed it off, claiming he only cared about rogue drops and the Featherfall jewel from the boss. The rest was pure vendor trash to him. Since cash was cash, he generously let them loot whatever they wanted. Lon bowed with massive gratitude. Cha-Cha chimed in with a guilt-tripped apology, feeling they were totally draining his profits. She poured out her thanks. Out of nowhere, monstrous roots shattered the earth. The ground violently split wide open, his eyes locked in dead serious. The final nightmare was here. He screamed for the squad to brace for impact. Lock formation. Tanks to the absolute front. Follow my lead. The gargantuan Treant King materialized, flashing its terrifying lord status. 100,000. Over 100,000 hit points. The monstrous monarch roared, furious at the trespassers. Lethal vines lashed out. Yan flawlessly dodged the death blow. Lon stood totally paralyzed. A mere level 2 rogue dodging an elite boss beautifully? This was absolute peak gameplay. Yan instantly dictated the strat. Boiled Water takes aggro, while close combat stays tucked away. Casters were strictly banned from breaching the 30-yard death zone. Crushing pressure instantly slammed onto Boiled Water. The armor rating on this thing was absolutely broken. Yan commanded the mages, dropping the ultimate signal. Unleash hell. A rainbow barrage of destruction rained down, while Boiled Water tanked like a god. Boom. Cliffhanger time for today. Craving those weekly chapter drops? I am migrating all future bangers over to my backup channel, Manhwa Updater. Want to witness this epic boss fight? Go smash that subscribe button over there and join the update gang. Huge thanks. Stay frosty, keep being absolute legends, and I will catch you in the next epic recap.